My presentation is about the daguerreotype history in photography. The daguerreotype is a type of early photograph experimental approaches. It's not too important and have been used before. Type are on a bright mirror-like silver metal surface and depend on the light conditions and maybe either positive or negative, as many other results have done, not come from anywhere. The earliest mechanical tools appearance to capture visual scenes during the recovery. Artists of this period used the dark camera to sketch out their desires. Later, the dark camera can be used in the photography. It took the person 8 hours to view his picture. They were then washed in lavender oil, which gave them a calming effect. By seeking away the prevention of further daguerreotype exposure by fixing the image in reliable table salt solutions, he also delivered his technique. The technique that were created at the time were less costly and difficult. As a result, the daguerreotype was nearly entirely replaced by the photography process. The daguerreotype was popularly described as a memory, special, and upbeat direct image in the camera observed on a sensitive silver coating plate. But daguerreotype had dealt with a clipping below to the art world by turning the rustic painting into history. But daguerreotype, however, can be released the artist. This position seems odd when one believes that photography originated from the landscape desire as imported in the most accounts by many inventors and users. Since then, the Fox Talbot, he claims to have had the idea of fixing the camera shadows because he wanted to reflect the beautiful landscapes around the Italian lakes and had been comfort with his lack of photography skills. Because of the qualified insensitivity of the daguerreotype, moving objects were not correctly documented results in changes in the appearance of the landscapes that they did not benefit from their use of communicating through the sensory effect on the same landscape, thin as if they're polished grey and a little sad. The daguerreotype was the correct instrument for studying the thousands and one information captured at the time. However, it was much less sensitive in portraits. The general ideal, the scientific objects here under production due to difficult physical appearance. The limited scale of the image was another downside. When facing these horrors of the nature itself, which the daguerreotype is limited to exposed and stressing, there is a whole work of thinking that is judged natural to scientists and the artists, especially landscape painters, but absent from the photographer picture. In humble view, since this removes the daguerreotype feature, it does not in itself guarantee an actual image of the natural process, especially since, in addition to the earlier describing difficulties in on behalf of the whole and its accurate effects, there is also difficult speaking with the pieces, suggesting it needs to be synthesized and the model. Shortly after the daguerreotype process was discovered in 1839, its forces were captured by a popular imagination as a nature's pencil, most of which did not even seen a picture in the person. Dagger had announced a new port in art history. Several portrait studios opened in 1840. The daguerreotypes were costly, so only the wealthy could afford a portrait of themselves. While portraits were most common subject, and daguerreotype was used to capture a wide range of photographs, including structural and documentary subjects, still life, nature, and existing events. When the amber type was introduced as a faster and less costly photographing process at the end of 1850s, the daguerreotype lost the favor. A few modern-day photographers are restarting their technique. These photos can be blurred and outdated, but they were a high point of photography in the 1850s. Daguerreotypes, also known as mirrors of memory, retain their silver finish and change appearance depending on the lighting and viewing angle. But photography has a highly common in the early 1900s, and in people taking pictures of their own lives and creating their own personal history. Similar to this, the Frenchman invented a laid foundations for important aspects of the modern era, documenting and recording objects and the people as a broader social group and ordering projects. A small group of photographers attempt to save the daguerreotype as an existing process in the 1980s and the 1990s. Despite its high in value due to the difficulty of information, Hamad believes that daguerreotypes, the medium of photography in which it is pronounced, does not have the same artist suggesting power as painting, capable of causing an impression. That ends my presentation.